guys, this is part 2 of the question and answer series. So the next question is from Mimi G, 2002, and she has a 2-part question.
I can't see any of that.
When your kids come over, do you cook special for them, or do they eat the food that you prepare for yourself?
They're very health conscious and very conscious of what they eat.
Yes, they're very...
It's very good.
Yes, and so they love eating what I cook. My daughter-in-law is always begging me to cook healthy, and they love eating healthy food.
And you're an awesome cook. But she loves your cook. She loves most of what you make.
Yeah, she does like what I cook. And yeah, my daughter and her husband, they come over and they pretty much love everything we cook too. So it turns out really good that they are not very fussy. My youngest son is still fussy, but I know, my oldest son was super fussy too, probably even fussier than my youngest one, and he got over it. So I have hope that he will.
Taste change, you mature.
Yeah. But yeah, they eat whatever we cook. And the second part of the question, how old are your pups? And I have a rescue Whippet Bella, who like yours is such a joy. She encourages me to get out and walk. That's awesome because, yeah, Luna loves going for a walk, and I love taking her out for a walk too. But it's just been too cold to take her out. She just shivers the whole time. So my dogs, Max is 11, Miley is 6, and Luna is like 7 months now, right around between 7 and 8 months. The next question is from Deb Palmer. She has a 3-part question. The first one is, do you spend more or less on groceries now that you are on Weight Watchers? We definitely spend less on food because we eat out a lot less. We were eating out, gosh, between the 3 of us, probably at least once a day for one of us. We were eating out a lot. So that was a lot of money there. And
junk food is expensive.
And we were eating a lot of junk food, so that means I was running to the gas station at least once a night to go get our junk food from there. And we seriously would probably have it every night, almost. Close to it. So yes, we save a lot.
Even though we're eating mostly organic, which is pricier, but vegetables, honestly, compared to the junk food and a lot of the processed food, unless you're getting the real cheap stuff. I mean, obviously, if you're eating all ramen noodles, it's going to be cheap. But if you're eating semi-healthy processed stuff, or heck, just a lot of that stuff, it's expensive. Now, Carrie's she's mostly cooking at home, which I guess even more than Weight Watchers is what's saving the money. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's less. Our food bill is probably lower.
Yep, definitely lower. And the next question is, what other habits have you changed since Weight Watchers? Well, we had mentioned eating out, so we do way less eating out than we ever did. And then we exercise a lot now. Walking, I move around the house more. The habits, yeah, I just like clean more. I'm up and down the stairs at least 15 times a day, where before maybe twice, and that was only when I absolutely had to. I would be sending my son up and down for my stuff downstairs, but now I do it myself. So
now you don't think about it. Now you just
I don't think about it.
You just go downstairs, and then because the other day you went downstairs to get something and came out and said, I didn't even think about the fact I was going downstairs. I needed something, so I went and got it. Yeah,
I didn't even think about it. And before, it's like I was sitting on the chair like, oh God, I don't want to go down those stairs because I have to come back up them. And before I even reached the top, I was huffing and puffing so much I thought I was going to die. It was just that difficult, and I just didn't want to do it. So just so many habits have changed for us.
Yeah, I never take the stairs. I always take the stairs in my office. The elevator is actually kind of slow. It's faster to take the stairs than the elevator. And there's just no point in it. It doesn't take any effort now compared to before, and like I said, it's faster than taking the elevator. Our other building that we're in that I spend some time in, if I have time, I'll take the stairs, but that's a 7-story building, and sometimes it's way faster. And to get to a meeting on time, I have to take the elevator. But even there, I'll take the stairs at times. And I never would have done that before. There's
Yeah.
no way I would have done it because it was a flight and a half, and I was catching my breath before I went through the door.
Yeah.
I don't think about where I park. It's just the
Yeah,
first spot,
that's
first open spot, I pick it, and usually I'll pull away from past the other cars further away, just because it's easier to get in and out and faster to get in and out.
I think about where I'm parking, but I park at the furthest lot away from the store now. Even in the winter, the dead of winter when it's super cold out and windy, I'll still park that far away and I'll walk because that's usually the only exercise I'm getting just going into the store besides my elliptical. So I just suck it up and I walk in the cold.
Yeah. And other habits, all of our planning now is different.
Yeah.
We plan ahead when we go somewhere so we can plan our meals. We go places more. Besides just a road trip to some store or some whatever, we're planning trips to parks and state parks and hiking, and we're going to outdoor equipment stores looking at backpacks. A lot of stuff's changed as far as that goes.
Yeah, so much changing. Okay, the last part of her question was, what are your 4 favorite recipes? My all-time favorite probably would be the Weight Watcher chili recipe that I found on several channels, and they're all made differently. But if you look up Weight Watchers chili, you'll probably find one that will work great. It has the one with the ranch and the taco seasoning mix in them.
It's really good. Hers is really good.
Really, really good. And then I found a burrito bake on Weight Watcher Wifey actually's channel.
The taco bake, right?
It was it was a taco bake. And we weren't fond of that. So what we did was turned it into a burrito fill. And that has turned out to be one of our favorite meals. We just make it and then just put it in a burrito. And I made it a little differently.
We tried it and it's okay. And said, well, I bet you this would be good on a burrito with some sour cream and a little
cilantro
and some
it was
taco
so good.
sauce. And it honestly, those burritos are just about, they're right on par with Taco Bell, Taco John's, loaded burritos. So for a few points.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4 points for one or something.
Yeah.
Versus 13.
I think 3 points for one.
Yeah, 3 or 4 versus 13 for one of those other ones.
It was nice.
Fast food.
And then probably our beef barley soup is another one of our favorites. What else is tacos?
Yeah, we've got a lot of good.
We have a lot of favorites. Beef stew. We don't eat much spaghetti anymore because of the noodles.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have so many of them, but those are some of our favorites. Okay, the next question is from Nancy from Pumpkin Girl 1950. She has a 2-part question. The first one is, I love to travel, so my question to you both is, where have you traveled to, especially if you have gone overseas? We have went to Mexico. We took a cruise on the what was it? The Epic. It was a new ship at that time. It was so huge. It was a huge ship. It was beautiful though, and we went to Mexico, Honduras.
Those. Then we've driven to
Canada,
Florida, through Canada. We've driven to Missouri and Texas,
yeah.
Ohio, through the Smokies a bit. So, we were in Niagara Falls with the kids. So
Niagara Falls, yeah.
I guess New York and back through there. We haven't been to a lot of the western states.
Yeah, we
together.
haven't. We're going to be going west, I think, this year, somewhat. And then you've traveled to Germany and...
Traveled to California to visit my sister, and to Germany, Austria, Vienna, Paris or France, and London.
Yeah, he was all over. Back then, I didn't travel. I didn't want to travel because I was so unhealthy and so sick feeling that I had no urge to travel. Now I would love to travel.
If anybody that's on Carrie's Facebook group, I've got a article I wrote on there about my trip to Germany and walking 100 and some miles while I was there, and that was one of the reasons Carrie didn't want to go. She didn't admit it at the time, but that was a big reason she didn't want to go because she knew there'd be walking.
A lot of walking, and I wasn't ready for it, and I definitely wouldn't have made it from what he says there was. So the second part is, where is your favorite place in so far in Wisconsin, not including your home? We both discussed this, and we both agreed that it would probably have to be Copper Falls, the Copper Falls State Park. And we also want to visit the center of the world, which is very close to our home, actually.
45 minutes away?
45 minutes away.
It's the center of the northwestern hemisphere.
Yeah, very cool. So we're going to go visit that. We'll take you guys along with us, too, when we go.
45 degrees by 90 degrees.
Yep. So very cool. We're going to go see that. And then the next question is from Susan Harold, and she would like to know, you always eat brown eggs. I've tried them a couple of times, and they just tasted weird. I thought they might be old. Are they a taste you need to get used to? And they just did not taste like my regular ones. If you are used to store eggs, I don't know if the brown eggs you're talking about come from the stores or not, but we noticed the first time we had...
Brown eggs don't taste any different than white eggs, though.
Yeah, they shouldn't taste any different than white eggs.
Based on color. Now, if they're free range or pasture raised versus factory raised, those do taste different.
Yes, they do. But they taste so much better. I think they taste so much better. We got the farm fresh eggs, and then we each took a egg from the store, and we both cooked each other's eggs, so we didn't know which was which, and we both picked out the better one, which was the farm fresh egg. It was so easy to tell the difference.
We both knew people that were raving on pasture-raised farm fresh eggs and paying $3-4 a dozen. And part of me like, well, are they raving about them because they're paying $3-4 a dozen, or are they actually worth $3-4 a dozen? And so we did a little blind taste test with them, and you could tell immediately which ones were which.
They are so worth $4 or $5 a dozen.
Well, the farm fresh eggs tasted like egg. When it was side by side of the store one, the store eggs tasted kind of like almost synthetic,
nothing,
like a fake, like a, I don't know, like egg light. I don't know. They didn't have much flavor. They didn't taste like eggs. So if that's all you've ever had, it would be really easy to say, oh, these taste funny. They do taste different, and but really, there's so much more flavor in them.
Yeah, but if you're buying it from the store, they shouldn't taste any different from the color. Doesn't make any difference. But sometimes if somebody feeds their hens differently, like if you feed a hen onions, your egg will almost have an onion flavor to it. So it depends on what the hens are eating as well. That can change the flavor of the egg. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but factory hens, if you buy the eggs at the store, are fed arsenic to make them lay some of them better.
To fatten them up.
Fatten them up and make them lay more eggs.
Makes them hungrier.
Yep. So that is kind of a scary thing. That's one reason we switched to farm fresh eggs.
And then another thing too with the store eggs, the sell-by date is 30 days after the packaging date.
Yeah, so they could be quite old by the time they get to the store.
They could be a month old by time, or over that by the time you actually get them, eat them.
Yeah, and farm fresh eggs can last quite a while if you don't wash the bloom off of the egg. You can leave them out on your countertop, which we do a lot because
our eggs don't last. They don't sit around a month either.
Yeah, if you leave them on your countertop for 3 weeks, they're going to be fine as long as you don't wash the bloom off of them, which we never do with our eggs. If we get our eggs, if we know our eggs are not washed, we will leave them out on the counter. If we buy them from the farmer's market, we don't because we're assuming that they wash their eggs, so we don't leave them out on the counter then. But we will leave ours out there. And they actually do taste better when you don't refrigerate them. Okay, the next question is from Andy Rainey, Losing My Jeans. He has this is a 5-part question. The first part is, how did you meet? That was...
She saw me from afar and fell in love.
I was, how old was I?
17?
17? I think I was 17. And I went to church with my best friend at the time. And I saw him at church. Thought he was married to his mother because they were holding hands. And I had just seen them from behind. So when I first saw him, I was interested right away. And then when we were sitting there, we were behind them, the woman grabbed his hand. So I'm like, oh, darn, he's married. And then my friend is like, no, that's his mother. I'm like, oh, cool. So then we just went and talked to him, and I called him the next day, I think, right?
You invited me to go roller skating.
I invited him to go roller skating, which is, if you knew me back then, was unheard of me because I was so shy. I would have never have done that. But I was afraid if I didn't do that, somebody else would steal him up. So I had no choice but to call him. And we've been together every day since.
Well, then you called me for a date after that.
Yeah. I called him again after that. And then I think every day after that we were together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part of that question was, what made you choose Weight Watchers? My daughter actually invited me to go with her, and I said yes.
To get free stuff.
To get free stuff from Weight Watchers. And when I first met the leader, I was hooked at that moment. So I just kept going back. And you joined because of me. So it was a good choice we made. And
So
then
you're at fault for both parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm at fault. And then the third question is, why do you homeschool Nick, and did you homeschool your other children? I did not homeschool my other children because I didn't feel like I could, I guess. But the more I learned about it, the more I really wanted to take Nick out and homeschool him, because the influence at the schools nowadays is just horrible. I didn't want him to go through that. I didn't want him to grow up around the influence of just the school-age children, I guess.
Well, nothing negative against teachers. I worked at school district 15 years and knew some of the best teachers in the state. And there are many excellent teachers out there doing a great job, but they have to divide their attention among 20 kids. And so you have a 1 hour class, or actually less than 1 hour class, 52 minutes, to teach 20 kids. You've got less than 3 minutes apiece to actually spend one-on-one with them. And if the kid's a little advanced, that means you can't help them go beyond. They're often on their own unless they get an advanced class. And if they're falling behind, then they need some extra attention that they may not get. Mm-hmm. So, where with Carrie, it's one-on-one, so he's getting all of her attention during class time.
Yeah, and if there's something I don't understand, we can find it on YouTube, always. There's always YouTube to go to. He's learned a lot from YouTube. We found this awesome math program on YouTube, so it just is all working out, and his attention span still isn't very long, so I always have to give him so many breaks in the day, and he doesn't get that at school, so he was getting really frustrated. And it just helps here at home that I'm always like, okay, we need to work on this for at least, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, and then we're going to get a break after that. So then he'll settle down and he'll actually pay attention to what I'm telling him, and he'll get those breaks in between. So that's the biggest reason why I decided to pull him out, because his attention span was nowhere near where it should have been for his age. So I thought I could better handle that at home. And the next question would be, did either you or Corey go to college? And if so, what did you do? If so, what did you study? We both went to college. I did not finish or graduate or anything, but I studied just secretarial, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And my long-term goal was to go to be a veterinarian, but that kind of fell through because we had kids, and I wanted to stay home with them. The main reason I wanted to go be a vet was because I did get a job in a vet's office, and I did absolutely love it. And I actually got to hold a large intestine in my hand. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. I fell in love with it at that moment.
Cool.
It was so cool. Okay, and
I went for the data processing course at a tech college near where I grew up, and I think that was the only computer degree that they offered at the time. This was 30 years ago, almost.
Long time ago.
It was actually 30 years ago.
You just kept getting computer jobs after that, and you went for other courses then.
I've had a lot of certification and training classes, but
yeah,
that was the only college.
Yep. And the next question, can you see yourselves at Weight Watchers leaders? And you guys are awesome. Thank you very much. My Weight Watchers leader actually thinks I should be a leader.
Your first one.
My first Weight Watchers leader. And I would love to, but I still think that I need some more, what do you call that? I don't know. I feel confidence. Yeah, that's it. I feel like I'm not confident enough to do that yet, but I think I'm learning.
She's not confident that she's confident enough.
I'm not confident that I'm confident enough, but I feel like I could learn, definitely. And I would absolutely love to be receptionist there for a while and just kind of work my way in, I guess. He would be an absolutely fantastic leader. That I can say, because he's led other people and he's actually done many speeches before and did awesome at it. I think he would be a fantastic leader because he's done classes before and he's very intelligent.
I would have to be able to dedicate the time to it. I wouldn't want to commit to something like that and then need to have somebody substitute
all the time,
regularly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's busy. He's a busy man. All right, this is the end of part 2, and we will bring you part 3 in just a little while.